Good morning and welcome in this lecture on brainstem. The brainstem is the part of the brain, lower stalk-like cylindrical part of brain, which connects the spinal cord to the cerebrum and cerebellum. So, here is cerebrum. Here is diencephalon, thalamus and hypothalamus. This is the largest part of the brain, the cerebrum, cerebellum, and part which is cylindrical, connecting the cerebrum to the spinal cord is known as brainstem. It is formed by three different parts. It is having midbrain, that is mesencephalon, pons, which forms the bridge of right and left cerebellum, and medulla and midbrain, and the lowermost part of the brainstem is medulla, or also known as medulla oblongata. The brainstem contains three parts: midbrain, pons, and medulla. When I say hindbrain, then I am talking about the cerebellum, pons, and medulla. And when I say brainstem, it means midbrain, pons, and medulla. The brainstem is having gray matter and white matter. But in spinal cord, it was simply straightforward or most straightforward organization of gray matter and white matter. But in brainstem, there is a transition point where the gray and white matter is scattered. In some places, it is well organized gray matter in form of nuclei of cranial nerves, and there are some undemonstrable gray matter pieces and scattered white matter known as reticular activating system or reticular formation. So in spinal cord, we have seen here. I will draw the section of spinal cord. Here is posterior median sulcus, and here it is anterior median fissure. Here is well organized, most straightforward organization of gray matter and white matter also. Here is the central canal, or also known as spinal canal. These collections of gray matter are known as the dorsal horn of spinal cord and collections of gray matter cells and nuclei are known as ventral horn. These cells which are in the dorsal horn are pure sensory cells, and cells in ventral horn are pure motor cells. One more column we can see in spinal cord, and it is known as the lateral column or intermediate column. This column is having cells of autonomic outflow. So, in a spinal cord, we see the dorsal gray horn having sensory cells and nuclei, ventral horn having motor cells and nuclei, and intermediate zone or lateral zone having autonomic outflow of the central nervous system. Now, how this arrangement of gray matter and white matter is changed in spinal cord to the midbrain. Before moving on, this transition from spinal cord to the brainstem, I will discuss about the connections of the brainstem. Here is, I will draw the lateral view of the brainstem. Here it is midbrain, pons, medulla and spinal cord. Here is this spinal cord. Midbrain, and here is anterior view of the midbrain, pons, medulla, medulla is bulb shaped, so it is known as bulbar, but when we say bulbar, it is used for whole brain stem, that midbrain, pons and medulla. When we use the cortico-bulbar fiber, we are talking about the midbrain, pons and medulla. But when we say only bulb, it stands for only medulla. So here is anterior section or anterior view of the midbrain. This is lateral view of midbrain. So attachment of or connections of brainstem. Brainstem is connected on upper part by the forebrain or prosencephalon, which is formed by telencephalon and diencephalon. So it is connected by upper connections are by diencephalon, and through the cerebral peduncles it is connected to the cerebral hemisphere. Laterally It is connected to the cerebellum through three thick bundles of the white matter. It is known as upper cerebellar peduncle. Peduncle means thick collection of axons, that is, it is white matter. So, upper cerebellar peduncle, middle cerebellar peduncle, and inferior cerebellar peduncle. The peduncle connecting the midbrain to the cerebellum is known as upper or superior cerebellar peduncle. The peduncle or thick bundle of white matter or fiber connecting the pons to the cerebellum is known as middle cerebellar peduncle, and the peduncle connecting the medulla to the cerebellum is known as inferior cerebellar peduncle. So these are the posterior connections, or sometimes also known as posterior lateral connections of the brain stem. Inferiorly, it is connected to the spinal cord, here is the gray matter of the spinal cord. Inferiorly, this brain stem, it provides a highway-like tract for some tracts. Tracts are also collection of axons. The tracts may be upgoing or upward running, or also known as ascending tracts. There are some tracts which connect the spinal cord to the thalamus and to the cerebellum and cortex of the cerebrum. These are spinothalamic, spinocerebellar, and fasciculus cuneatus and fasciculus gracilis. These are only some examples of the upgoing or ascending tracts of the spinal cord which runs through the brain stem. There are some downward connections of the spinal cord also, downgoing or descending tracts. These descending tracts runs from the cerebral cortex to the spinal cord and some subcortical areas of the brain to the spinal cord. The most important tract which is running from cerebral cortex to the spinal cord and to the brain stem are known as corticospinal tract and corticobulbar tracts. So these are downgoing connections of the spinal cord to the cerebral cortex. So we have seen upgoing or ascending system of connections. Secondly, we have seen the downgoing system or descending system of tracts. The most important descending tract is corticospinal tract and corticobulbar tract, also known as pyramidal tract. And the upgoing tracts or ascending tracts are fasciculus gracilis, fasciculus cuneatus, spinothalamic tract, and spinocerebellar tract. Besides these tracts, there are some other tracts which connect the spinal cord to the subcortical areas of the brain, like spino-vestibular, spino-reticular, spino-olivary, and spinotactal tracts. We have seen the posterior or posterolateral connections, and these connections are in form of superior cerebellar peduncle, middle cerebellar peduncle, and inferior cerebellar peduncle. So posterior connections are in form of peduncles. These are superior, middle, and inferior cerebellar peduncles. Now we will see the very important connections of the brainstem to the anterior part or anterolateral part. Here is brainstem in the posterior part, and it is situated in the posterior cranial fossa and lying posterior to the clavus part. The clavus part is formed by Beji-occiput and Beji-sphenoid, and this brainstem is located on the clavus part of the brain above the foramen magnum. Now it is having some anterior or anterolateral connections, which are the cranial nerves. Cranial nerves are the nerves like spinal nerves, but these are either pure sensory, pure motor, or in form of mixture of sensory and motor fibers. So fourth type of connections are anterolateral or anterior connection in the form of cranial nerves. We have seen upgoing connections, downgoing, posterolateral and anterolateral connection. We will see now. There are 12 cranial nerves. There are 12 pairs of cranial nerves. First two cranial nerves, first and second, are connected to the forebrain or prosencephalon. Cranial nerve number 3rd to the 12th are connected to the brainstem by some sensory, motor, or autonomic nuclei. So, third cranial nerve here emerge from the interpeduncular fossa. Here is emerging third cranial nerve. It arises from the level of superior colliculi in the posterior part of the midbrain. Here is tectum. Tectum part is formed by roof of the brainstem. It is formed by the corpora quadrigemina or superior and inferior colliculi in midbrain, and formed by cerebellum in pons and medulla. So at the level of superior colliculi, in between the two cerebral peduncles, the third nerve emerges. The fourth nerve, the only cranial nerve coming from the dorsum of the brain. It is coming from the dorsum of the brain and arises at the level of inferior colliculi This is third nerve, oculomotor nerve, and fourth nerve is trochlear nerve. Now, in the middle of pons, at junction of pons and middle cerebellar peduncle, here is emerging fifth cranial nerve by large lateral sensory and small medial motor nuclei. So, this is the fifth or trigeminal cranial nerve. When we see the nerves in lateral sections, we will see third cranial nerve coming from anterior part, that is interpeduncular fossa between two cerebral peduncles, and fourth nerve, trochlear nerve, is coming from the backward part or back part of the midbrain at the level of the inferior colliculi. Now, the fifth nerve emerges from the anterior part of the bones, and here is pontomedullary junction, that is junction of pons and medulla. Here in this section, this is pontomedullary junction, and the nerves emerging from the junction of pons and medulla are the sixth cranial nerve, known as abducent nerve, the seventh cranial nerve, which is formed by a large lateral sensory and small medial motor nuclei, and besides this it is also having nervus intermedius, which form the seventh cranial nerve. Eighth cranial nerve, that is vestibulocochlear, arises from the lateralmost part of the pontomedullary junction. So, this is sixth, this is seventh, and this is eighth cranial nerve. Now, remaining last four cranial nerves arise from the medulla. In medulla, I will draw the other section of medulla here. These prominent bulges on each side of anterior median fissure are known as pyramids, and these are known as olive. These are formed by the descending tract, pyramidal tract, so known as pyramids, and these are carrying the corticospinal and corticobulbar fibers, and these are prominent structures formed by the inferior olivary nucleus or inferior olivary nuclear complex. And here is inferior cerebellar peduncle. I have already told this inferior cerebellar peduncle connects the medulla to the cerebellum. Now the arrangement of the nerves of medulla, that is 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th are here. At the junction of pyramid and olive, these are emerging fibers of the hypoglossal or 12th cranial nerve, and at the junction of this olive and inferior cerebellar peduncle, here are rootlets of the ninth cranial nerve and rootlets of the wandering nerve or vagus nerve, 10th vagus. This ninth nerve is known as glossopharyngeal nerve, and here are the cranial fibers of the 11th cranial nerve, that is spinal accessory nerve. If I draw the lower part of medulla, it will continue with the spinal cord, and here is foramen magnum, and from the spinal part, here are rootlets of the spinal part of spinal accessory nerve. These rootlets enter in the cranial cavity, and these fibers join the cranial part of the accessory nerve and form the spinal accessory nerve. So these are the anterolateral connections of the brainstem in form of last 10 cranial nerves, that is third cranial nerve from midbrain emerges from the interpeduncular fossa, fourth nerve emerges from the back side of the brainstem. It is only cranial nerve arises from dorsum of the brain, and fifth cranial nerve from the middle part of the pons, and sixth, seventh and eighth cranial nerves arises from the pontomedullary junction, and here ninth cranial nerve, 10th and 11th, 9th, 10th and 11th from a similar row from the junction of the olivary nucleus complex and the inferior cerebellar peduncle, and the 12th cranial nerve, that is hypoglossal nerve, arises from the junction of the pyramid and olive. So these are the connections of the brainstem. Now I will talk about the transverse section, that is a common transverse section of the brainstem. In detail of transverse sections of the brainstem, we will discuss in detail in separate lectures of medulla, midbrain and pons. Here is general presentation of the transverse section of the brainstem. Brainstem is roughly divided in three parts: medulla, pons and midbrain. All three parts are divided: anterior basilar part or basis, the middle large part which is having the nuclei of cranial nerves, and other gray matter is known as tegmentum, and this tegmentum part form the floor of the ventricles. Either it may be the fourth ventricle or the cerebral aqueduct, and the roof part of the ventricle is known as tectum. It may be in form of the superior and inferior colliculi in the case of midbrain, and cerebellum in case of pons and medulla. So roof part is formed by the tectum, and floor part which is having the nuclei of cranial nerves and major part of gray and white matter, and the scattered gray and white matter which is undemonstrable, known as reticular activating system or reticular formation, is housed by this tegmentum part. And the basis or basilar part of the brainstem is housed by the descending tracts, that is corticospinal tracts and corticobulbar fibers. So this is the basic mapping of the transverse section of the brainstem in medulla, pons and midbrain. Now I will talk about the transition of spinal cord to the brainstem, how the gray matter, which was well organized and was very most straightforward way or most straightforward organization of gray matter in the spinal cord. Now it is scattered. It is well organized in form of the cranial nerve nuclei in some places, and it is scattered and in small pieces which are not demonstrable anatomically, known as reticular formation. So here I will draw the section of spinal cord. This is posterior median sulcus, and here is anterior median fissure. Here is the most straightforward gray matter. It is known as butterfly shaped, and it is also H shaped. So these are dorsal horn and these are ventral horn. The dorsal horn is having the sensory fiber, and it is having motor fiber from motor neurons, sensory fibers from sensory neurons. In general, what happened?